New and exciting summer 2024 tournament. My name is JD Silvergun, and today we have MrByer, a veteran in the community, and Glitch Hunter, a very accomplished player, versus Duden, who is a bit newer to the no logic scene, but has, proven themselves to be a very competent runner. He wins some races here and there, and generally quite fast. He was seeded quite high in the tournament. I don't remember exactly how high, but definitely high for a newer runner, I would say. Anyways, we're off. Link's house is 20 rupees for Duden and bombs in the sanctuary for MrByer. A very nice first item. I mean, not the greatest, but it's convenient. And so, for anyone joining us that does not know, no logic is a mode where the items are placed completely at random. There is no consideration for what is accessible and what is not. And because of that, we are allowed to use several major glitches to beat the game. And so this should be a lot of fun. Alright, so MrByer exploring the Lost Woods, and Duden is setting up a swim clip to Ice Red Cave. Okay, nice 50 rupees. We like money in this mode because we use potions for glitches, and also lots of bombs and arrows too, if we have a bow. Dude, having a little trouble with this swim clip. This tech is kind of finicky. So it's understandable. It looks like, yeah, we're getting it. Hey, check over the lumberjack on MrByer's side. I think that was bombs, but I'm not sure. And that dude gets 50 rupees in Ice Rod Cave. Okay, mushroom on Spectacle Rock. Surprised we're getting that immediately if we're also going into Hera. Seems a little more efficient to grab it on the way down. Okay, so Duden into Waterfall Cave with the Water Walk. The key to Meyer and 20 rupees. And MrByer shows us our first sword in the Hera basement cage. It's a very, very good find. The Master Sword is one of the few items that we need every time. It is not negotiable. We need Master Sword or better to defeat Ganon. So this is a really good start. We are small in the lobby of Hera. Yeah, MrByer usually gets the double hit. Like that means hitting the crystal switch twice with one bomb explosion. I'm a little surprised he didn't get it this time. I have soft locked myself like numerous times trying to do that. So I don't generally go for it, but I have gotten it before. I missed what the... Oh, Green Pendant was Eastern, and we also have the map of Palace of Darkness in Sahasrar's hut on Duden's side, and some heart containers. Did Duden actually go... Okay, never mind. Never mind. False alarm. Okay, we're going to... Ocean Shop area. Alright, MrByer rescuing the old man. MrByer getting dead rocked. Just a piece of heart on the old man. But will he make it into the cave? He does. Alright, Duden setting up a fake flipper. Okay, so this is... I'm assuming the back of escape. Could also be King's Tomb, but most likely back of escape. Okay, MrByer with the Graveyard Ledge, a DMD or Death Mountain Descent. The bow and Graveyard Ledge. Alright, so we're getting some pretty decent items, like right away, in less than 5 minutes on MrByer's side. It looks like all Duden found was a castle tower small in the back of escape. MrByer is in the Houlihan room because descending the mountain in an unintended manner breaks our camera. And we like rupees, so there you have it. Okay, so now they are trading places. MrByer is doing the water checks, and Duden is approaching the Lost Woods area. Nice magic for Duden on the tree pole. I'm gonna assume that was probably like tier 2 or 3, but not actually sure. Duden also checking the lumberjack is a little bit surprising. I've heard a lot of people frowning on that check. I usually check it, but a lot of people don't agree with me, though. Right. Duden getting the heart container in the mushroom location. And this routing suggests they may be going to town next, or they could just go straight to the right and do a DMA or Death Mountain Ascent. Okay, we are going to town on Duden's side. The sub 10-minute Kakariko play is a bit of a bold move and no logic, but here you have it. Duden into Blind Tut. MrByer sees that it is just arrows on the Zora ledge, and curious what we're doing if we're walking out of here. Oh, upgrades. Alright, well this is an interesting way to route this in without making a separate trip. I was very curious where MrByer was going. I completely missed Blind Set. Just assume it was nothing. Oh, MrByer going with the double bomb upgrade, but not a single bow upgrade, with having already the bow, or I should say arrow upgrade, not bow upgrade. Yeah, we cannot pay to upgrade the bow, unfortunately. Okay, Desert Small Key is one of the better ones to find on Duden's side in the well. And Red Boomerang from MrByer is also a pretty good find. And MrByer into Mini Moldarm Cave. Duden not really finding too much of value in town. A map of desert for MrByer. Map of swamp. And Bombos. Bombos could potentially be quite helpful, depending on the seed. And we see Duden getting the big key of Eastern Palace, doing the race game skip, and MrByer does a bomb juke to get to King's Tomb, and it is rupees. But yes, we really like maps in this mode because since it is a key sanity mode, we do not know the prizes and their layout, meaning the pendant and crystal allocation. So MrByer doing a clip to get into Castle Tower without, needing to bypass the barrier the traditional way. And Duden is exploring desert. We see a sword in the first check of Castle Tower, but not having the key from back of escape. MrByer is going to leave the second check behind. And we see Ice Rod on Duden's side. That is almost certainly not going to be missed by MrByer, but it is good to see that early. Just so we know we're not looking for it. Okay, and MrByer into the castle proper. This is a very common early play because the big key from the ball and chain guard is a key we can use in cave state, and I'll explain more about that later. We also see the map of Skullwoods in the Hyrule Castle map check, so we have quite a few maps available in this seed, which is interesting. MrByer getting scammed on the boomerang. So for those that don't know, guard vision is an invisible projectile. Nice map of this dungeon. So your boomerang and hookshot can be blocked by like the guard's line of sight. It's a very poor mechanic, but it is something you have to deal with if you play this game a lot. Also, top tip I learned from watching a vanilla speedrun guide and major glitches. If you walk to the right of those pots when you're doing the pot strat, the ball and chain guy walks closer to you faster, so you can save a little bit of free time there. I wonder... I don't know, this health total is very not good. I was going to say maybe MrByer will juke to Thieves Town, but with 3 hearts and presumably green mail, that is pretty awful, so I doubt it. And yeah, we're out of there, as expected. Where are we going, though? This looks like Sahasrara. Unfortunate that he did not get the Eastern Big Key yet from the race game. Oh, meanwhile, Duden doing Mini Moldorm Cave. He gets Bombos and some maps. Also going for the juke. Oh yeah, Eastern's green pendant, so maybe it doesn't matter that MrByer doesn't have the big key. I mean, it is a full clearable area, but I'm kind of curious where they're going to go next. MrByer is probably going to go to Pod soon, just because of having the Cave State big key already. And Duden, I think, is going shopping. Yeah, we see the fake flipper. Buyer checking the mushroom. Kind of a bold move. The mushroom can actually be a very powerful item in this mode for manipulating the search index. Quake. Oh. Oh. That is, well, we have a decision to make here. I mean, Quake, of course, unknown value at this point, but, MrByer decides he's gonna keep it, so... With MrByer will have to find another indexing item if he wants to do an overworld conveyor in the future. And Duden has done the contemporary DMA, a glitch we use to bypass the glove requirement to get into the old man cave. And MrByer is just going to reset after all, doesn't care about the heart containers or the map in Sahasrara. And we have a mushroom again, and we know for future reference that Quake is available if we need it. But one of the reasons we may choose to go back for that later is because Meyer, if it's a crystal, we are going to have to deal with that dungeon one way or another, and having the medallion is desirable if possible. Okay, so MrByer into Cave State, Palace of Darkness, and Duden gets the sword in Hera. So because we did not enter this dungeon through the front door, we do not have a dungeon ID assigned, and so the game is considered to be what we call Cave State. And a byproduct of that is that we have essentially infinite small keys, and the big key from the ball and chain guard is one of the few that works as a big key in Cave State as well, so we can get the big chest and open big doors if we want to. So Duden gets the mushroom on Spectacle Rock as well. I'm curious if Duden will also do a save scum for that. Moon Pearl in the pod, big chest. So this would have been perhaps a bad day if you did not get the Cave State big key before coming here. And we see our first bottle on Duden's side on the floating island. Bottles, a very versatile and powerful item. Yeah, early we like to see those. Later on we generally prefer other solutions than bottles, but sometimes, you know, you just get what you get. And you have to work with what you have. Alright, so MrByer finding the big key of Meyer in the back of pod, which we can only use if we have the medallion to Meyer. Okay, so Duden immediately going to buy a potion for the bottle he found. I like this. This is somewhat efficient. Yeah, having already been to town and to the potion shop, it makes sense to buy a potion here. So MrByer tends to like to combine the Dark Death Mountain via fake Dark World with the Light World East Mountain. I wonder if the Moon Pearl is going to cause him to change his routing a little bit here. We see the hammer and a glove in Paradox, and the big key of Desert, so I'm inclined to think MrByer's route is working out a lot better so far. He's going to get the big key to Desert before going there, most likely. And Hammer, Glove plus Pearl is vanilla Dark World access, which is interesting. It's certainly not something you expect to be a given in this mode. And Duden not having a way to bypass the barrier is going to leave the sword and castle tower behind, which is unfortunate, considering he's the one with the small key and could get the full clear. Immediately putting the hammer to good use, though. Alright, MrByer is backtracking out, which tells me... Well, it could be a number of things. This could be a play for the boss, or it could also be a quadrant glitch, or it could be both. Oh, that sword location is going to be very orphaned for Duden. I mean, the mirror or just going to Thieves Town via the Uncle Passage may draw him back here, but I think it's unlikely that that will get checked for Duden. But meanwhile, MrByer is doing a glitch called Statue Drag to Helmasaur, in which we have to store this statue pulling animation and abuse it. Alright, so Duden deciding to save and quit rather than taking a death warp. And it looks like we're seeing that Thieves Town play sooner rather than later from Duden, because I feel like you would have checked this first if you were just doing the uncle. Alright, so meanwhile, MrByer is progressing with the statue drag glitch by juking some transitions, bypassing them, and then carefully manipulating the camera and doing more transitions. We are able to access the boss's room using only bombs. Duden doing a setup for a YBA called Time Bomb and not getting it on the first attempt. But the purpose of this is to get onto the second to last or the last pixel before transitioning. Because if we drink a potion on the same frame as the transition, it will take us to a different place or possibly have another variety of effects depending on where we're doing it, but in this case it's to go to Thieves Town. And MrByer has defeated Helmasaur and gets the first crystal in 22 minutes and 10 seconds. Duden has successfully YBA'd or Yusuhara's bottle adventured into Thieves Town, but also Cave State, like we saw before Cave State Pod on MrByer's side. Small key to TR in the maiden cell. Alright, so because Duden has not blown up the attic yet, he's going to despawn the maiden, but he was going to have to make 2 trips into this area anyway to do this, so it's inconsequential. So meanwhile, MrByer has armed a quadrant glitch. And if I know the traditional Byer routing, he will arm several more, or arm and disarm them, to achieve a variety of effects. So this, instead of abusing knockback from an enemy, this setup, okay, that was successful, is abusing the conveyor with the spin release. I've never seen anyone go for this setup, and this is a MrByer special. The visual cues for this are like quite ambiguous, but the purpose of this is to get these GT checks without actually going to GT. We see the Cane of Burna and a second glove behind the Ice Armos check. Or, like, fight. Normally it's behind the fight. In this case, we skipped it. Alright, so Duden has exited and re-entered the dungeon. And we found a fire rod somewhere, so that's a really good find. But by re-entering, we have proper dungeon ID. Blue mail is a good item, I think. Alright, so MrByer is abusing a mechanic called Fake World. He was on the overworld in a Dark World screen, but because we did not take a world transition, it was what's known as Fake Dark World. So when you screen transition from Fake Dark World, it takes you to real Light World. So MrByer is combining the East Mountain, Light World, and Dark World without actually having the mirror. And it's having a little bit of trouble getting back in balance here, perhaps due to the altered visual cue. I'm not sure. Nonetheless, does manage to get the bottle. Duden blowing up the attic, and we see a second bottle in the attic of Thieves Town. Alright, so MrByer is going to get the hammer and the mitts in Paradox, but I wonder where MrByer will decide to go next, because a lot of options are... Well, a lot of options are available, but they aren't as good as if both runners' items were combined together. Because the fire rod in Thieves Town is a really good find. And we don't know the prize of Thieves Town, so if it turns out to be a pendant and MrByer skips it, that could be significant. Oh yeah, and the big key of desert was here, so potentially another advantage for MrByer, not having been there yet. And actually can just do Thieves Town from desert if he wants to. Having already done the castle area, that makes sense. Alright, so MrByer is going to Kakariko. Nope, never mind. We're doing Back of Escape because we missed it earlier, but... And we see Duden gets a crystal from Thieves Town and defeating Blind, so... We are currently tied on the crystal count. And boss is defeated. MrByer getting a thanks game moment from the Castle Tower key, having just been there. We see the flippers in the chest game for Duden. Flippers are a huge convenience if we are, like, clearing swamp, and they're annoying if we're not. Alright, so MrByer is going to Kakariko, as I predicted. Duden checking the C-shaped house. Another TR small. And Duden also showing us some fake world transitions, able to quickly get to Kakariko in the light world from the Village of Outcasts, and Kid is a new check for us, so we have 20 rupees. It looks like Duden is going back for Checkerboard Cave, and this makes sense. Also, having the big key of Desert and the Fire Rod can choose to clear this normally, if he wants to. So between both of our runners, if we combine the two sets of items, we could be considering go mode. But it's unfortunate for Duden is going to have to figure out a way to dupe the Hera Sword or find another one. I just do not see him going back for Castle Tower. You never know though, he might do it. MrByer's route to victory is much more on path, because the bottle and the Fire Rod in Thieves Town are very much on path. Alright, Duden into the Landmolas fight. Still does not have the bow from Graveyard Ledge, interestingly. I mean, not that that's a very good weapon for this fight, but it is interesting. Okay, so MrByer also getting the big key of Eastern. We know that Eastern is green pendant in the seed, but that key can be used in other dungeons, usually Mire, to good effect, if we want to. And Duden acquires his second crystal and second crystal boss kill. So, taking perhaps a slight lead. I wonder where Duden is going. Oh, the big chest, of course, because we haven't seen this yet. Duden also could take the Desert Big into Mire if he has. Never mind, we're leaving. Although without the hookshot, that's actually pretty gross to do that. Because you have to hover to get out if you don't have a small key. So this Gullwood's big key was in the Desert Big Chest, which is pretty disgusting. These big key fetch quest chains. Alright, I have to imagine this is a play for Pod from Duden. Oh no, never mind. We are checking the Dark World. Pendant Mire, Pendant Swamp. Very interesting. So that's full info. And also 2 of the more annoying dungeons are not required on this seed. Where are we going, MrByer? Oh, did he forget to buy a potion? Yes, he did. This is an unfortunate loss of time. Meanwhile, Duden is doing a citrus clip. That was a really nice select buffer clip. Pretty quick, honestly. So this is one of the ways, perhaps the most common way we descend the mountain if we don't have the Moon Pearl. Oh, the lamp is on Bumper Ledge. Wow. I wonder if we're going to see a reroute for that, but he decides to just continue on for now. I'd imagine Duden gets a blue potion for a fake flute link state and comes back to get that like right away after this Skullwoods play is done. The lamp is a very, very powerful item in this mode. In addition to letting us see in the dark, it manipulates something called the search index, which is very powerful for other glitches. It is possible to do a bunny clip to get that location, but it's pretty disgusting, so I'm not surprised that he's not going for it. Okay, so Death Warping in Skull Woods places us in the fake Dark World because Aghanim 1 is not defeated. It's just a vanilla mechanic of the game that's patched out of normal randomizer, and we see the hook shot in the Skullwoods big chest, so the fetch quest chain is paying off this time. And MrByer also has the Skullwoods big key, so very interesting. Oh, being that Skullwoods is a crystal... Oh, and we see a second bow as well in Skullwoods for Duden. I was just going to say that, but since we know Skullwoods is a crystal, MrByer most likely gets the hookshot and the lamp in the seed, which is a very powerful combination of items, combined with what we already have. So MrByer is going to be in full-on go mode once he gets the fire rod from Thieves Town and the bottle, and then goes to Skullwoods area for a hookshot and lamp. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. And MrByer is going to Thieves Town, so is literally about to get both of those items. Or of the first two, anyway. Getting trolled by the enemy blocking the switch. It's always a little amusing when it doesn't happen to you. A TR big in the Skullwoods big key chest. Interesting. MrByer claims his second bottle in the attic. And as predicted, we're continuing. Because of a glitch called LSD blind, it's not a big deal that... Oh wait, MrByer didn't even do Landmo. That's a little bit curious. Maybe just not knowing the prize. He didn't want to go for it. Or no, he does know the prize. He has the map. It says Crystal. So the game still thinks that MrByer is in Desert, because we didn't enter the front door of Thieves Town. The desert was the last place we officially entered. I guess not having the fire source and only having the one bottle, actually, it makes sense. I'm just getting ahead of myself. So MrByer will have to go back for Landmo at some point, but... I think MrByer forgot the big chest, or I just missed it. Oh no, he can't, because that's the one downside of this route, is that you don't have a small key. Yeah, I don't normally do this route, so I was a little sorry for confusing myself here. But MrByer will be able to claim the prize of Desert if he wants, and defeat Blind. And then claim the prize of Thieves Town afterwards. Alright, so Duden into the back of Skullwoods. This is a pretty gross fight with... Well, I guess the hammer makes it less bad, but... Oh, never mind. We're just going to spam Fire Rod with a potion. I mean, this works. Fire takes down Blind, gets the map of Meyer. That's where that was. That's a good map. Okay, so MrByer not picking up the Desert Prize. Saving it for future refill or future routing. Okay, so Duden takes down Mothula, gets another crystal. So we have 3 crystals on Duden's side and 3 bosses. MrByer at 2 bosses is soon to be 2 crystals. It's a shame we don't have mirrors, so MrByer could easily route into Skullwoods after this, but I suppose for the sake of the race, it will make it more interesting. So, MrByer back into Thieves Town, like proper Thieves Town state. Duden is checking the mushroom. I'm curious, probably we'll decide to reset the... Well, no, we know where the lamp is, so never mind. This, like, literally does not matter. Oh, the blue potion tells me Duden is thinking of going back for the lamp right away. MrByer gets the fire rod. The seed has been quite generous. It's just unfortunate for Duden and not, you know, not having a sword, but maybe one will be on the way. It does have the advantage for the moment, having more dungeons done. MrByer, 2 bosses and 2 crystals. 2 Dudens, 3 and 3. About to be 4, though. As the only bad thing about doing this Hera play first is that if he misses the fake flute, he'll not be able to reset, but presumably you just don't miss, right? Because surely no one would ever miss a YBA on restream. Alright, well, anyways, that is 4 crystals and 4 bosses for Duden. MrByer gets the flippers, which are inconsequential in this seed. Okay, oh, that's right. We don't need the mirror to go to Skullwoods. MrByer is using the mitts, which is very difficult to remember that you have. And Duden forgets to consume magic or take damage, so... Or they just wanted the possibility of save scum, and I missed it. But you have to actually be able to drink the potion to do a potion glitch. Alright, well this method of routing could potentially be unfortunate for MrByer, rushing straight to the back, and it tells me we may not walk out of here and check the bumper ledge item. We may not even get the hookshot either, but I'd imagine we probably get the hookshot and the silvers. Alright, Duden setting up a fake flute. This is an overworld YBA that allows us to call up the flute menu in the Dark World, and it also gives us Super Bunny. Alright, MrByer with the good Fire Snake RNG in the back of Skullwoods. Duden with the fake flute at 3, as expected, going to go claim the lamp. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Tam. It's just unfortunate because we know that the seed is like Omega free if he just like does what Duden's doing, or like it's actually even easier for MrByer because MrByer has the Moon Pearl. Alright, so MrByer getting bullied a little bit by Spike RNG and Moth RNG hugging the top is like the worst pattern possible. Oh no! Needs to be careful. Well, that is an unfortunate death for MrByer. And also means that he's not going to be able to check the lamp unless... Yeah, so Duden full cleared this. We know there's no mirror. So we're not checking bumper ledge on MrByer's side. That is extremely unfortunate. Even if he wanted to, he will have to make a separate trip. Duden, meanwhile, into pod. Still needing a sword. I presume they're going to full clear this and find the Moon Pearl. To just go back to our tracker in chat, Tam saying MrByer has a fairly comfy go mode. I wouldn't consider 8 hearts a comfy go mode, personally. I mean, I've done it before on seeds that, like, required it if you want it to be done in a timely fashion, but... I think comfort is in the eye of the beholder here. Yeah, there is a strong argument for MrByer to do more checks, not just for heart containers. Like right now, Hera is terrible because we have to unlock it from pod. TR is not fun, certainly manageable with the double YBA. Okay, we're just leaving. Never mind. Just kidding. Alright, well, this race just got a whole lot more interesting with MrByer having the advantage, but taking a death and then skipping out on two of the strongest items in the game, but not knowing they were there, of course. And Duden having more than enough items to complete the game, just except for not having the Master Sword. And also being up 4 to 3 rather, on bosses and crystals. MrByer farming potions in the waterfall. This is interesting. Well, the 2 blues will do the Trinex YVA. But MrByer also has a lot more money than Duden. So. Oh, he wants them for Ice Palace. Okay, never mind. Just kidding. Well, we have Glove and Hammer, so... we don't really need potions for Ice Palace, presumably, unless we need them for safety. Alright, so Duden also backtracking out of the right side, presumably he's going for the boss, because Duden has full knowledge. And MrByer apparently has full knowledge too, I'm guessing, from the tracker. I'm not sure if that's the style of tracking we're doing though, but I think MrByer has all the maps. Alright, so Duden resetting the dungeon. But also not having the mirror is going to have to do this the slow way, but it's still better than doing the dungeon vanilla. If that were even an option, which it isn't. Alright, so meanwhile, MrByer has done an Ice Palace bomb jump, and we're checking the right side as well, apparently. Yeah, okay, we're just doing the one check, never mind. I was going to say, Skullwood seems more item dense than Ice Palace if you're still wanting to do checks, but... so I don't understand this, but like just the one check makes sense. Okay, so we found all 4 TR smalls in this seed, and it's unlikely to matter in this seed, but it's kind of funny. Alright, so Duden into the Helmasaur fight, MrByer into the Coldsaur fight. Not using the hammer, this is a little bit silly if you ask me. Like, we need our bombs for glitches. And I guess Duden's just probably not getting silvers unless he doesn't find a sword for a long time. Alright, MrByer takes down Coldsaur. Duden has taken down Helmasaur. So maintaining the same pace for both runners. Just, MrByer just 1 behind, so 5 to 4. Although I'd have to imagine MrByer is thinking about going back for desert. Like, you could try to hold out for a flute, but that is unlikely to happen. Okay, I think we're going to desert now. Meanwhile, Duden is going to show us some new checks. Pipe cave. I can't get over how unfortunate this was for MrByer. I mean, he could be argued to be in the lead having the Master Sword, but like that Skull Woods area was just so stacked. Like lamp, hookshot, and silvers. And Duden did not really find anything in Hype Cave, but it looks like we're setting up a flipper wrap to go to Ice Palace this way, which is interesting because I said the flippers were not going to matter this seed, but like we have other ways to get there, but this way is convenient for Duden because we're already here. So this requires flippers and a link state to do this. And you'll just have to take my word for it that we're inside the Ice Palace courtyard right now on Duden's side. Okay, so MrByer going for the Landmo fight. So if you're a fan of MrByer, you want there to not be a sword in Ice Palace or on Laser Bridge. That will force Duden to make some difficult choices. And if you're a fan, well, yeah, and if you're a fan of Duden, you want those things to be true, or whatever, the reverse of what I just said. So, MrByer has defeated Landmolus, currently tied on the bosses and crystals, 5-5, both runners. Duden gets the Ice Palace bomb jump, very nice. But yeah, this Hera situation is slow for MrByer, so we're going to have to go to Pod to unlock it. Because we just don't have a way to get up there right now, otherwise. So we can use our Cave State Big Key wherever we want to, provided we have a way to get there. So MrByer is going to do a YBA to do a wrong warp to Hera. But maintaining Cave State though, so we can use the key. Okay, just a heart piece in the H room in Ice Palace for Duden. MrByer did not show us these two checks. Shovel. Well, stay tuned to find out if that leads to anything. Alright, MrByer gets the warp. Actually curious about this Hera big chest, because we did not see this on Duden's side. Ah, just a compass. Never mind. MrByer just deciding to walk up the stairs. You can hover that or bomb jump it. Because like that hover is like the easiest hover in the game. It only requires like 1 frame of hovering. Anyways, it doesn't matter because we're here. The door is unlocked. And we have to save and quit because we can't actually exit because we don't have a crystal switch. Alright, Duden checking iced tea and presumably didn't find anything because I don't see his sword being upgraded. Alright, MrByer, potion shopping. So this makes sense to do this beforehand because he can route the Heraclear directly into TR, being already on the mountain. But presumably, if he doesn't find any other items, like namely Samaria or like a loaded bottle, he's gonna have to go potion shopping again to get to Agatu. Alright, Duden into the Cold Stare fight, using Bombos and Fire Rod strats. Of course, the game will not let us menu to the hammer because boss exploding, very annoying. Alright, Duden getting some nice hammer hits though, and finishing the fight off. Alright, so Duden ahead as far as crystals and bosses, but MrByer close behind though, already approaching the Moldorm fight. And Byer having the advantage of being in go mode with the Master Sword. Alright, nice hammer hit there for Byer, finishing off Moldorm. Alright, well with that, I think MrByer has officially, like, taken the lead in all senses of the word. It just has to hit the Trinex double YBA. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Tam. MrByer did not get the Turtle Rock Big Key, I don't think. Yeah, that sucks. So MrByer will have to do 2 YBAs instead of just 1 to get to Agatu, if that's the case. A nice mirrorless wrap though, that was pretty quick on MrByer's side. Okay, Laser Bridge. Second Fire Rod. Void it out. Heart Container. Oh, Sank Heart Container. And Ether. Okay, so none of that was terribly useful. I mean, the Heart Container's not bad. Alright, so this is the setup for the Trinex YBA. So, we got the first one. We need to navigate without camera here. Okay, so this second one is a very high pressure moment. You can't go through the door because there's a pit, and MrByer gets it very nicely done, making it look easy. Into the fight. Going behind the back. No hammer though, so it's a little bit surprising. But very nicely executed on the first head. And now we're switching to hammer to get more value out of our magic. Alright. Okay, so the difficult part is over, but MrByer still needs to be a little bit careful. It actually is being exceedingly careful by being several tiles to the left of where we normally see people. Alright, Duden, having the lamp and the hookshot and a lot of very nice items, does not have to do the YBA. We're seeing... This is called a 0A stuck push, a specific kind of hook push. Basically, by overloading the game, we are able to manipulate the data the hookshot reads, and it can send us flying over large distances and through walls and doors, so that is what Duden did. And MrByer sees that a bottle is on Trinex, which is interesting. Alright, so 7 crystals and 7 bosses for MrByer. Just needs to go potion shopping again so that we can reach Aga 2 and then go to Ganon. Duden into the last phase of the fight, takes down Trinex. Yes, I agree, Tam, our tracker in chat, pointing out that the bottle is nice for Buyer specifically. Because if it is the case, I forgot where it was, that MrByer doesn't have the TR Big Key. He has to do 2 potion glitches to get to Aga 2, and the 3rd bottle will allow him a potion for safety. Or just if he misses one of the YBAs. It can add a buffer, so to speak. Not taking the heal is, that's a choice. Going into a Master Sword Silverless with less than 10 hearts. And no hookshot. No cape. Nothing to help you out there. Okay, well we get a lucky fairy drop on the mountain, so that's at least something. But we'll have to take a little bit of damage just to do the YBAs though. Alright, meanwhile, Duden not having a sword for Go mode into GT. It's not over yet. MrByer theoretically could have a rough time on Ganon, and Duden could quickly find a sword in here. This is the most dense item location in the game that is remaining. Okay, so MrByer gets the first YBA. This was to skip the big key door. So this is actually the door we need. The first one was just to get here. Oh, and we're checking Crystal Roller. I've been on the fence about this check in this situation. It's pretty slow, and it doesn't pay out in this case. Alright, MrByer gets the second YBA, so we'll have a safety potion for Ganon. Well, this YBA is one of our lava dives, the way we like to go to Aga 2. And meanwhile, Duden has not located a sword. Alright, Aga 2 is down for Buyer. We're going for the Clipe. Can we make it? Okay, well, we're out of bounds, but we're not going for it because it was risky at that point. At least getting through the wall is the important part. You have to assert dominance against collision. It's part of the game. Alright, Duden finds the 4th bottle in the Fire Snake room in GT. Fire into the Ganon fight. Master Sword Silverless, 52 spins to win. Alright, let's go. A second Ice Rod for Duden. Not what we wanted to see on his side. I'm a little bit surprised Duden didn't go to Hookshot Cave first. Having the hookshot, if it was helpful, like, you could have done that, like, before TR, and possibly avoided this whole trip, if a sword was there. But nonetheless, Duden into the Ice Armos fight, and MrByer still working on Phase 2 Ganon. MrByer needs to be a little bit careful here. We've reached the Oko point. Okay, we're using Burna, apparently, for safety, which it works. Because he brought a potion, it works. Okay, and we knew there was not going to be a sword here for Duden because MrByer showed us specifically those 3 chucks earlier. Alright, MrByer into phase 3. Here's the bad news about the silvers in Skullwoods. And, oh no! I was just gonna say nice torch glitch, but gets an unfortunate right movement. Allows Ganon to bop MrByer off the edge. Meanwhile, Duden was setting up a hook push, but I did not see the result of that. I'm assuming it failed and that we just saved and quit. Alright, well, MrByer wants to refill magic before attempting the fight again, which is understandable. And this is a setup to get to the Pyramid Fairy called Zero Mid. And Zero Mid is the part that puts us in position, and then the swim clip is called a Tam Swam. So we're just conveniently able to, you know, line up with the door. Moon Pearl allows us to get a water walk and go inside. You know, not in the swimming state. Okay, so heart container and flute, but the real reason we're here is for potions. And very nice, getting green potions. Okay, Duden into Hookshot Cave. And Pod Big Key, not helpful. GT Big Key, we were just there, thanks game. And 20 rupees. Alright, the search continues for Duden. We know this Super Bunny is not going to lead to anything because MrByer did this already. Duden could decide to walk out of here and clip down to Catfish. We've not seen that yet. Alright, so MrByer once again in the Ganon fight. A lot safer this time with 3 potions and going to be able to use Burna to avoid the bats. Although, didn't need it that time, for that wave was a pretty friendly pattern. Alright, Duden into TR, out to get his mirror, which may lead him to the Pyramid Fairy and Aga Tower, but I'd say that's somewhat unlikely, but you never know. Alright, MrByer doing a good job of avoiding damage so far on this Ganon fight. Okay, still on phase 2 though. Playing patiently and carefully. It's very nice to see that he's not losing his cool over the fall. Alright, and we're into phase 3. Okay, so Duden is doing the YBA to Aga 2. Alright, well this mirror will lead directly to that sword for Duden, so I was wrong. As long as he does actually mirror on top of the pyramid. So MrByer needs to get this fight right this time. Okay, nice torch glitch. Should be in the bag for MrByer, just needs to be patient. Alright, Aga 2 is down for Duden, also a Clipe attempt. Very nice, you love to see it. And we got it. Nice little cutscene skip for Duden. Alright, Duden checking the pyramid first, not mirroring. They decide to do Pyramid Fairy and then mirror. Alright, MrByer working on this phase 4 still. Has plenty of resources to work with, just needs to get it done. Duden finding the flute in Pyramid Fairy and leaving. MrByer continuing to spin to win. Alright, and Ganon is down for MrByer as Duden is about to locate a sword. Alright, please get your GGs in chat for MrByer. Is gonna take this win with an official race time of 1 hour, 10 minutes, 40 seconds. Well played to MrByer. Alright, it looks like Duden is going to finish this out, despite knowing that MrByer has finished. We should be getting MrByer in for an interview any moment here. And we are joined by the winner of today's race. Congratulations, MrByer.
Yeah, GG's. Ganonfall had me nervous for a bit there.
Yeah, Duden is actually fighting Ganon right now. Just got the sword from Castle Tower, like right when you were literally right when you killed Ganon. So you really had to get it right on the second try. It was a very close race. But so the story of the difference between you two is that Duden was quite late to pod, and so not having the Moon Pearl led to like some different routing decisions. But essentially, Duden ended up having a lot easier time because it was a stacked like Skullwoods area. He got the hookshot in his bow, which would have been your silvers in Skullwoods. And also the lamp was on Bumper Ledge, which he like returned to get with the fake flute because he didn't have the pearl yet.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, me and Tam were kind of debating. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to check Skullwoods, but when I checked the map, I realized I think I'm straight up in go mode, so I just went for it.
Yeah, Tam and I were debating about if you were going to do more checks or not, and I mean, Duden was ahead like by like one dungeon, like one crystal for a while, but did not have the Master Sword, so and then also found like those convenient items, so we weren't sure what was going to happen, but like, I was kind of rooting for you to do those checks, but skipping them makes a lot of sense, so like I don't blame you. And then like the unfortunate death means you actually couldn't have got the Bumper Ledge item anyway, at least not without making a separate trip, so the hookshot without the lamp would have saved you time on Hera, but it ended up not mattering in the end. But I mean, I like the routing overall, though. Like, your decisions made sense to me. I don't know, do you have any, like, particular thoughts about the seed, or just pretty straightforward stuff?
Not really. I guess having hook pushing would have been really nice in the end. I don't know how much that would have sped up things, though. Probably decent.
I mean, it would have been peace of mind to not have to worry about the YBAs, I think. And, well, the biggest thing was, like, unlocking Hera is slow. But, you had enough of an advantage that it ended up not mattering. Duden is, I'm assuming, almost done with this Ganon fight. I haven't really been paying attention. It's a very long fight. Alright, well, Ganon is down for Duden as well, so... Nice show of sportsmanship finishing this out. Let's get our GGs for him as well. I wonder if Duden will consider different castle routing after this. I always encourage people to learn the north side clip to the castle. And we're joined by Duden as well. GG.
GG's.
So, I mean, you probably realized at this point what the difference was in the race. Obviously, the sword, but
Yeah.
you
I already
may.
asked in the race time.
Well, you did have some very nice items that MrByer did not have. And MrByer's bow actually was from Graveyard Ledge, so it would have been his silvers if he had chosen to like do those chucks. Yeah, so you had some nice items that unfortunately just was not what you needed in this case.
Yeah. I really hope that the hook shot was lucky. And it kind of was, as you read now, but yeah, all the bottles were basically free. Realized that after GT. But it's okay.
Well, I was gonna say, or just a question for you. Do you know, like, the north side clip, like, to enter the castle, from the sanctuary area?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I was just curious if it was just, like, a routing choice, or if you just didn't know, but, I mean, obviously you didn't know that that was going to be, like, the one check that, like, it hinged on, but I expected you to go for it before MrByer just because you had the Castle Tower small key, and MrByer didn't have it at the time he went to the castle. So it was a little bit surprising, but, like, I mean, it's justifiable to skip things like that, so,
Yeah, for
I
me,
mean, I
these picks are
understand.
feeling kind of slow. I don't know. I really don't like Castle Tower.
I personally think it's pretty fast. And really easy to chain into other stuff. Well, like, it depends on what equipment you have to kill the gold guards, obviously, but...
Yeah. I was also lacking a weapon for quite a long time, I believe. I think my
So
first
you got
kind of weapon were the ice rods.
Yeah, you were much later to the first sword in Hera. MrByer got that, like, pretty immediately. Like, did a Sank Start, Lost Woods, and then Lumberjack DMA. I mean, you did eventually get the hammer in Paradox, which served you quite well, I would say. It was just, like, we were wondering, like, watching, if another sword was going to turn up, like, on path, but, like, it just never did. So, because you actually, if you watch, I don't know if you are one to watch your races back, but you did maintain like a bit of a lead in terms of like bosses and crystals for like quite a while throughout the seed, but it just, you know, a bit unfortunate luck on the sword.
Yeah, I don't know if you can dupe the basement sword in Hera. But searching a sword, and you know the 3 swords you can find is always, I don't know, you can skip things, but you don't really want to.
Yeah, I understand.
Awkward situation.
The way that you dupe that sword, I believe, like, I haven't done this in a while, but Tam, I'm sure will correct me if I'm wrong. I think you just have to do 2 East STCs, in the desert door, the one that we normally go to Swamp with. Okay.
That's usually for, like, stealing Hairbasin, but I guess that also dupes the key. Good stuff
Oh
is
yeah,
good.
and Tam also saying, yeah, if you double YBA from Meyer torches, actually, like just knowing the map layout, that makes sense too. But like obviously, like I mean, if it's your go mode, I mean, it is maybe something to think about, like in the future if the situation arises again. Meyer being a bit out of the way in a seed like this, but.
Yeah.
But I mean, the information is there. If you know, so do with that what you will.
Yeah, it would have been a play, absolutely.
Did anyone actually check what my medallion was?
No, you both avoided it.
No.
Okay. Because in the
Dude.
beginning, I was planning to save Scum the Mushroom I got, unless I got like a bunch of really good stuff, and it was like Quake, which I was like, I could just leave it here until I need it, or if I need it, because I wanted to keep the Mushroom.
I don't really had a reason to scout the Maya medallion though. I think I had information pretty early again.
Yeah, the seed was quite generous with the maps, I would say. And you did, Duden, you did show us a lot of checks that MrByer just decided not to bother with, like having the Master Sword, like much earlier. He was, you know, able to play more aggressively. Like, I'm surprised out of, like, Hype Cave, Ice Palace, like, full clear, and, like, some things like that, that MrByer was able to skip, that we didn't see a sword, but, I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. You never know.
Yeah. But that's why we play rando, right?
Yeah. As long as it's not like dumb hunts or rods.
Yeah, it
Is
always
this the
feels
game too?
better to two.
Oh, sorry, I was just looking at the layout. Tam has marked this as 2 wins for MrByer, and I think I missed the first race, so
Yeah, this is
I'm
game
assuming
2.
that's correct. Well, congratulations to MrByer, advancing to round 4 of the winners bracket. Duden will be, let me check here. Loser 28. Duden will be facing the person who eliminated me, Doomtap, in losers round 3. So that should be a really good matchup too. And Byer will be advancing to face Tam, which should also be a very good matchup. So there's a lot of exciting races coming up. Just let me just check the schedule. Well, it looks like we're getting, spoiler alert, we're getting a Game 3, Gabriel versus Dot Dot tomorrow. Or at least it's on the schedule. I'm assuming that means that it's tied up. Friday, July 12th, 1 p.m. Eastern. And Muffins vs. Skelly, Friday, July 12th, 4 p.m. Eastern. And, alright, well, just want to say thank you to Tam for tracking. Thanks to, I believe it was Blue Link for helping set up. Or, no, it was Mad Ewok. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to miscredit anyone. Any other comments from our racers?
Yeah, as usual. Thank everybody involved in the restream, everybody watching, and have fun with the remaining races.
Yeah, thanks for the restream.
So congratulations again, MrByer, and GG to Duden. Down but not out. We look forward to more good races. I think that will do it for us today. My name is JD Silvergun, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.